If you've been keeping up with the news lately, you might have seen that No Man's Sky is actually under investigation by the ASA. Now, the ASA are a British body called the Advertising Standards Agency, and after months and months and months of people lambasting the game for not actually having the features that it was advertised for, this big official body's getting stuck in, and Hello Games are being investigated for false advertising. Now, whether or not you like the game or not, the larger problem here is that video game advertising is pretty broken across the board. So when you're first shown a game, say a developer or publisher has to rock up to a certain press event and show the world what they've been working on, they'll pick something out of the full game that then gets referred to as a vertical slice. It's meant to be indicative of the final product, but 9 times out of 10, it doesn't represent the final product. They don't have to worry about rendering the whole game, they don't have to worry about frame rates across the board, they don't have to worry about story and additional levels that maybe haven't been rendered or implemented yet. They can just take a chunk of the game, polish it up real nice, and show you that. And that tends to be what you get given, and that results in a lot of skewed expectations, a lot of versions of games that are assembled for a mass audience that maybe isn't indicative of the final product. Now, the problem is, this thing's been happening for years. Look at the likes of Batman Arkham Knight. I mean, you literally had Rocksteady saying the Arkham Knight is a brand new character. And he wasn't. Look at Halo 5. It was going to be Master Chief versus Spartan Locke. That wasn't the case, really, apart from one cutscene in the game. Look at Metal Gear Solid 5. It was going to be the downfall of Big Boss. Not the case. Look at The Witcher 3's graphics. Look at Metal Gear Solid 2. Look at Spore. Look at Aliens Colonial Marines. It's nothing new, and that's the problem. Hello Games and No Man's Sky is the tipping point. The fact that we actually had a game marketed off the back of trailers that showed a state of a game that, up until the ASA launched their investigation, still had the wrong trailer on the Steam homefront page. You could go on there and you can see a trailer from 2013, loaded with a HUD and game elements, graphic rendering options that just aren't in the final game. The problem with video game marketing seems to be that they can show a product to you in an initial stage, and that's where the hype all comes from. The consumer doesn't go out of their way to track these things month to month alongside the development of the game. We don't see the things that are changed because we don't keep track of them. So at the end of the day, the game that you go out and buy is based on an assumption that you had from years ago. The thing is, the problem is across the board. Whether we get told that this is real gameplay footage or whether we're seeing something that's pre-rendered, I mean, hell, the entire Xbox One initial reveal was faked. All the voice control, all that stuff, with Yusef Mehdi being like, oh god, can you believe it's one-to-one interaction? It wasn't. We were lied to there as well. And let's be completely honest, when Sean Murray was on Colbert, he literally did say players can see each other in the game, and that just isn't in there. That's literally a lie. But the weird thing here is that in No Man's Sky's case, we have lots of interviews and pull quotes with Sean Murray saying like, well, he said this was going to be in the game, he hinted at XYZ being in the game. Is that part of the promotional material? I don't know. That's a little bit of a grey area, and that's something that factors into how hype gets built. Oh my god, he confirmed this in this tiny one segment with somebody. Oh, but it's not in the game. Did they really say it was going to be in the game? There's a weird assumption with all of this where the remedy just seems to be that you need to follow your chosen game month to month. You need to put the effort in, and therefore you're more educated and more informed when it comes to buying the thing that you want. And I don't know whether a general consumer would ever really do that. But just look at the response to No Man's Sky. I mean, it dropped to below 1,000 active players this past week. The amount of people that are just saying like, this isn't what I wanted, this isn't what you showed, and I'm done, as opposed to following month to month and reassessing what they expect and going from there. The overall problem here is with the gaming industry. It's with hype. It's with seeing games in progress years in advance. I mean, we've got Death Stranding and Hideo Kojima coming out and saying, hey, I'm doing this new game. I've barely got a game engine. I haven't got any screenshots to show you. In fact, the trailer that I have showed has got nothing to do with the final game. Literally said that. But we're still building hype around this thing. It's not going to be here for another 5 years. Final Fantasy VII's remake's not going to come out for another couple of years. The Last Guardian's finally arriving 10 years late, as is Final Fantasy 15. We have a real problem with hype and building things up, and that is the issue. Now, obviously, there is a problem with lies and mismarketing and just showing something that just isn't going to be there later down the line, but that's an industry-wide problem. Hello Games are at fault. Sean Murray is at fault for discussing things that maybe weren't going to be in the game and for going completely radio silent following the game's release as far as their social media is concerned. But to lambast Hello Games and lambast No Man's Sky, it's so not just them that it really needs to be addressed. So that's what I think about the whole issue right now. Let me know in the comments just how much you follow a game's release. Trailer to trailer, interview to interview. How much do you let the hype take hold? How much are you going in with just that clouded mentality of like, this is going to be the best thing ever, before reinforcing it with a little bit of logic or a reality check? I'm Scott from occculture.com, and I had to get this off my chest.